The final home series of the Houston Astros 2012 season opens tonight against the defending World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals. As the Cards once again eye the postseason, the Astros can leap up and take away their hopes. Astros and Cardinals are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's the first of three between the Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays to see if the Astros can upset the Cardinals' drive toward another playoff berth, J.D.
Well, these teams just met last week in St. Louis. The Cardinals won all three games, so the Astros looking for a little revenge. Most of the starting pitchers in tonight's game worked in that series last week. Fernando Abad started, got his fifth loss in 5 tries, but he threw the ball pretty well. He punched out 6 in that game, didn't walk anybody. The following night, Lance Lynn was the winning pitcher. His 16th win, that leads the St. Louis Cardinals.
And the Redbirds try to continue their push tonight here at Minute Maid Park. Can the Astros get it moving the other direction? And can they get some offense against Lance Lynn, who's really had a fine season? We'll begin to find out in just a moment.
Saving car insurance quote. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Well, for some, it might be a sentimental start to the final series of the year. The final series at home of the year is always somewhat sentimental, but this one even more so, as the St. Louis Cardinals are in for the final time. For many years, St. Louis, of course, was the farm system that the Houston Buffs were affiliated with. And, of course, for many years in the last decade, the Astros and the Cardinals have been battling for position atop the NL Central. This is the last time they'll battle for position. The next time they meet in a big series will be in the World Series, we hope, someday. Right now, let's go to the booth now for Bill Brown and Jim DeShays to get this final matchup in the National League between these two clubs underway, guys.
His camera is out, and he is snapping a photo or two as he watches this game unfold right before him, with Fernando Abad warming up to face this Hyundai St. Louis Cardinals starting lineup for Mike Matheny, who just turned 42. John Jay is the center fielder. Carlos Beltran plays right field. Batting third is the left fielder, Matt Holliday. The first baseman, Alan Craig, is the cleanup man, with Yadier Molina returning to the lineup, batting fifth. David Freese is at third base. Daniel Descalzo at second base. Pete Cosmo, the shortstop. Lance Lynn, the pitcher.
Lefty Fernando Abad on the mound for the Astros tonight. He's made 5 starts, the last of which was against the Cardinals on Tuesday. He allowed 3 runs on 6 hits in 5 innings, did not walk a man, and struck out 6. The defense, well, looks like this tonight. Martinez, Maxwell, Moore, the killer M's in the outfield. Laird, a late addition to the lineup. Matt Dominguez originally in there. He was scratched. Marwin's going to get a start at second. It'll be his 4th time over there. Not sure what's going on with Dominguez. We'll pass that along as soon as we find out.
Chris Conroy is working the plate tonight with Mark Carlson at first base, crew chief Angel Hernandez at second, and Ed Hickox at third. Fernando Abad, shooting for his first win of the season, is 1-10 in the big leagues with a 5.12 ERA, getting a shot as a starter, making start number 6, facing John Jay to lead it off. Jay takes it. It's strike 1 from Abad.
Average fastball in terms of velocity. There is some deception in his delivery. Curveball, changeup are his secondary pitches.
There's the curve up high. It's 1-1 to Jay.
Fastball will sit right around 89, 90 miles an hour.
Another hook makes it 1-2 to John Jay, who waved at that one.
Took a little off. Kept it down below the knees. Got a nice swing and miss.
Jay takes a look at ball 2. It's 2-2. Jay has a .376 on base average. Maxwell is positioned well over to left center field on Jay. A lot of room in right center. He slices this liner foul. Fights it off to stay alive, with Beltran waiting next, and then Holliday. Good Cardinal lineup. Second in the league in runs scored with 723. They're averaging 4.73 runs per game.
Average better than 5.5 runs per game against left-handed starters.
Ooh. Abad is dazzling, striking out Jay looking.
Again, he comes back to the curveball. Jay thought it was going to be inside, but it broke over the inside edge. Yeah, Cardinals 5.54 runs per game against left-handed starters. That's the second best mark in all of Major League Baseball, just a little bit behind the Rangers.
Carlos Beltran taps it out, and the shift is on. Marwin Gonzalez plays over on the left side of second base, and he takes care of out number 2. Marwin playing second as Jose Altuve gets the night off. Jed Lowry's at shortstop, but he was shifted around into the hole. And Altuve a little bit banged up with a groin problem right now. Now it's Matt Holliday. 27 homers, 98 runs batted in, and a .298 batting average for Holliday, ranking high in the league in those departments. Really dangerous hitter. There's ball 1. That's been a good run producer down through his career, which began with the Rockies. Takes a look at that one for a ball, and he's worked his way in front. 2 balls, no strikes in the count.
Very deep lineup that the Cardinals feature, so you got to be careful not to get too tentative with a guy like Holliday, because Alan Craig on deck has just wore out the Astros this year. He's awfully good too.
Holliday looks at a strike. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. It's 2-1 to him.
Too early in the game to get too defensive, no matter how good the hitter is in the bases empty situation.
Holiday fouls it back. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Holiday had back-to-back 2-hit games against the Astros last week in St. Louis, the second and third games of the series. .333 for the season. He's driven in 8. Cardinals have an 8-game winning streak against the Astros. And during that 8-game streak, they've outscored Houston 56-17.
When the Astros went to St. Louis last week, the Cardinals had just limped home from a tough West Coast trip to San Diego and L.A., but since then they've won 6 of 7.
Holiday tops that one foul past Jose Oquendo, who's almost in the seats. He's so deep. That's where he used to play when Mark McGwire was hitting. Good grief. Could he be any further away from the coaching box?
It's time to react. Nothing for him to do with nobody on base. He might as well go down and visit some people in the left field corner. I mean, go hang out with the ball boy, have a seat.
That's for sure. He can be at ease. No signs to give.
Hit it hard, just don't hit it at me.
He's deeper than Laird. Breaking ball struck him out. And that's a fine start for Fernando Abad. Meanwhile, the Astros come up against Lance Lynn, who did a nice job against them in St. Louis. But Jed Lowry is the leadoff man, and he's been putting together some good at-bats. We'll see his at-bat in just a moment. Brought to you by Hyundai. Jed Lowry is the leadoff man tonight in the absence of Jose Altuve. He's at shortstop. Scott Moore batting second in right field, has been on a tear lately. It's Brett Wallace at first base, Justin Maxwell in center field, Fernando Martinez at left, Brandon Laird at third, Jason Castro the catcher, Marwin Gonzalez at second, and Fernando Abad on the mound.
16-game winner Lance Lynn for the Cardinals tonight. Big hard-throwing right-hander. In his career against the Astros, he's made 3 starts. He's 3-0 with a .147 ERA. 6 1/3 scoreless against the Astros last week in St. Louis.
Well, looks like the Redbirds have a different third baseman as well. Matt Carpenter. David Freese was in the starting lineup that we got. So both teams are making late changes at third base. Jed Lowry gets it going for Houston. He's on a 7-game hitting streak with a .254 average, 15 homers, 41 runs batted in. First time he has batted leadoff this season. He's a good candidate to do it with a .343 on base average and a guy who works the count. He's hit .290 against the Redbirds with 2 homers, 4 runs batted in this season.
He's got a good heater. Fastball averages about 93 miles an hour. Throws both curveball and a slider and a straight change.
Lowry fouls the fastball, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. Happy birthday to Allison Footer today.
Is she divulging?
No. She's not even here, in fact. We're getting a report that she's 29. We've gotten that report in previous years, though. 1-2. Lowry's the 9th different leadoff man the Astros have used this year. It's been phenomenal, the number of different combinations they have tried at every spot in the order. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Jed has 7 hits during his 7-game hitting streak as he's come back to the lineup. Not really glowing hot, but he's had good at bats after missing 2 months. It's out toward left center field. John Jay makes a long trip back, still running, and Lowry has one in for extra bases. Jay picks it up on a hop, and there's a leadoff double for Lowry, his 18th 2-base hit of the year.
Jed getting an opportunity to play here, coming off the injury and making the most of it. He's had some really good swings, and that's just a good at-bat there. You talked about his ability to work the count. He did that, and then got a 2-2 fastball down a little bit, outer third, and he just drives it out there into deep left center field. Jay willing to sell out, but couldn't make a play. Leadoff double. Cash it in.
Great way to start an inning. Scott Moore has been very good lately. He's been on base in 15 of his last 26 plate appearances. Hitting .256 with 9 homers, 24 runs batted in. Had 3 hits yesterday against A.J. Burnett, who dominated the other Astros. Showing bunt, he takes ball 1. Moore's hit .111 against St. Louis pitching this year. Lance Lynn, an all-star this year, 26 years old, from Marion County, Indiana. He became the all-time strikeout leader at the University of Mississippi.
After a high school career, senior year, his team went 33-0, won a Class 4A state championship. He's from, I believe it's Brownsburg, Indiana. But not the first pitcher from there to make an all-star team, because that's where former Astro, former Cardinal Kent Bottenfield grew up.
Nice.
Yep, I did my homework tonight, Brownie.
Sure did. There's a liner to center field. Jay coming in, and he lays out and makes the catch. Well, Moore, who hit it well, is victimized by John Jay's excellent play, keeping Lowry at second, 1 out.
Yeah, a string of great at-bats for Moore yesterday against Burnett. He picks right up here this evening where he left off. Good, solid swing of the bat, but unfortunately Jay there to make a catch on the sinking line drive.
That's an outstanding play, and now it's Brett Wallace, Cardinal first-round draft choice, hitting .260, 8 homers, 22 runs batted in. He takes strike 1. He was 3 for 12 in the Pirates series with a homer and 3 runs batted in.
Tough day yesterday. Punched out 4 times.
Burnett was solid, wasn't he? Yesterday, 11 strikeouts in 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run.
Yeah, he just had the Astros flailing at that curveball all afternoon.
In tight. After the game, Clint Hurdle, the Pirates skipper, said he thought it might have been Burnett's best curveball of the year. 1-1 with Maxwell on deck. Matt Dominguez was scratched from the lineup tonight due to a stomach virus. The way they're pitching, and they pound him inside with fastballs, so the shortstop Cosma is up the middle, and that leaves the left side of the infield pretty well open for Brad Wallace, as you see. 1-2, and then sometimes after pounding him inside, they might throw soft stuff away, so he might roll over on that and hit a ground ball to the right side. He's not biting, and it's 2-2 to Wallace. Lynn has won both of his starts against the Astros, one here, one in St. Louis this year. Got his first major league win against the Astros in relief last year. He misses there, and it's a full count. Justin Maxwell waiting. Wallace has actually hit for a higher average against left-handed pitching than right-handers this year. He's hit .253 against righties. Brett fouls it back.
Well, fought off a tough pitch there. 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the inner half. Yeah, you see that with a number of hitters, left-handed hitters in particular, against lefties. They don't see that many of them, so you really concentrate on keeping that front side in, and they're willing to just hit the ball on a line, maybe shoot it the other way. Against the righty, they're looking to inflict a little more damage, and sometimes that leads to a lower batting average, but more power.
Cardinals won 2 of 3 in Chicago on their first leg of this road trip. Wallace really worked to get that walk, and the Astros are facing Lynn, who worked pretty hard himself. He's thrown 15 pitches so far.
At bat category, that's 3 for 3 good ones for the Astros. Double, line out, and then Wallace working the walk.
Justin Maxwell has runners at first and second with 1 out. Coming up at 17 homers to lead the club. He's driven in 50 runs. He has a .233 batting average. Justin was 1 for 6 in the Pirates series. That one hit was a homer Friday night. He has 3 homers in his last 8 games now. A strike 1 from Lance Lynn. When Lynn struck out 11 Astros here back on June 6th in 6 innings, that was his career high in the big leagues. Lowry homered off him in that game, but he gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. Last time out, 6 1/3 innings of 3-hit shutout ball in a 5-0 win at St. Louis last week over Lucas Harrell. He pounds inside. Maxwell taking, runs the count to 1-1. Now, tough news for J.D. Martinez today. He is going to undergo surgery on his left hand to remove the hamate bone on Wednesday. It's been bothering him for some time. 2 balls and a strike, but recovery time expected to be 4 to 6 weeks, and hopefully he can still play winter ball. That's the plan, maybe by early December. Lynn really establishing the heater. Almost every pitch has been a fastball so far of the 18. And Martinez on deck. That's foul back. 2 balls and a strike. Kyle Loesch won his 16th yesterday, beating the Cubs 6-3 at Chicago. They get that foul ball. Lynn is the other 16 game winner, and they are tied for 4th on the National League win list. Good 1-2 punch, and now they have Chris Carpenter, who's returned to their starting rotation, and of course Adam Wainwright, very big for them here in the final weeks of the season. Jaime Garcia is also in the rotation. Strikeout of Maxwell, 2 outs.
Good lively fastball, 93 miles an hour with a little sink to beat J-Max here. Now Lynn, Loesch, and Westbrook early on came up huge for the Cardinals after the injury to Chris Carpenter, and Lynn stepped into the rotation. And those 3 started really, really well. 12-1 or something like that combined at the start of the year. Lynn was 4-0 in April, 4-1 in May. Yeah, great starts from Loesch and Westbrook as well. Loesch has just been solid all year long.
Fernando Martinez looks at it at strike 1 to a .214 hitter, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. He went 0 for 7 in the Pittsburgh series. That's pulled foul. No balls, 2 strikes. We're getting an announcement on David Freese now. He rolled his right ankle. He was in the lineup in the top of the bottom of the first inning, and He didn't go out and take the field, did he, for the bottom of the first? So I'm not sure how he rolled his ankle because he didn't bat. But probably did it in pregame drills or something like that, JD.
Probably running through the tunnel to get a cup of coffee before the game.
Could have been it. Inside, and it's 1-2 for Fernando Martinez. Because Freese was on the lineup card that was turned in at home plate to the umpires, he is not eligible to come in. He has been technically in the game and removed now with that injury, even though we never saw him. That one hit him to load the bases. Fernando Martinez got that one on the right arm on a 1-2 count, and it'll be Brandon Laird batting now.
Well, you see it time and time again in baseball. A guy who is not expected to be in the lineup gets the late notice and then comes up with a big game. We'll see if that happens for Brandon Laird this evening, but he's got a big chance here with the bases loaded at 2 outs as Martinez gets whacked in the arm. Tough way to get on base, but a big first inning opportunity here for Brandon Laird.
Laird has a .316 average for 19 at bats with 6 hits. He has 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. It was a waiver claim from the Yankees, taking strike 1. Says he talks frequently with his brother Gerald, who's a Detroit catcher. 25 pitches for Lance Lynn. Of course, the Astros will be playing the Tigers next year in a couple of series. No balls, 2 strikes, but we don't know if Gerald Laird will be with the Tigers next year. He's on a 1-year contract with them.
A tight breaking ball here from Lynn. The start in St. Louis, Lynn started the game just pumping one fastball after another. He has a different game plan here this evening.
Laird got a pinch hit yesterday in the 8th inning.
So far, the game plan has been very similar.
Yeah. Up with that one, 1-2. Well, last week in St. Louis, the Cardinals starters were lights out against the Astros. They won the opener 4-1. Kyle Loesch had 7 shutout innings. Lynn won the second game 5-0, 6 1/3 shutout inning. So it wasn't until game 3 of that series that the Astros got a run off a Cardinal starter. And Lynn strikes out Laird with the bases loaded for his second strikeout to end the first inning with no runs or hits. 3 men stranded, no score.
Baseball. There'll be a cocktail reception, entertainment, and dinner, and your sponsorship of this event benefits the Astros in Action Foundation. Reserve your table today at astros.com/community. And, of course, all kinds of great confirmed players to attend. Hank Aaron, Craig Biggio, Gar will be there, Jimmy Wynn, Enos, Billy Dorn. It's just one of those events you don't want to miss, guys.
Absolutely not. Thanks, Patty. Milo broadcasting tonight, a scoreless game after 1. And what a difference in pitches thrown.
I heard Milo was going to ride in on an elephant for that. I don't want to give anything away.
Okay. Alan Craig leads it off. Taking, and it's ball 1 to Craig. A .312 hitter with 22 homers, 89 runs batted in. A big year for Alan Craig with a .905 OPS.
Yeah, and he's wore out the Astros this year.
He looks at that one, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. He certainly has.
Carlos Gonzalez, 452. He's the only guy better than Craig at 395. Well, Jay's right there with him. Better curve him.
It's 2-1 to Alan Craig. He's on a 5-game hitting streak right now with 9 hits in his last 20 at bats. He went on another rampage in Chicago, going 6 for 13, driving in 3 in that 3-game series.
Wallace way off the line at first. Everybody else pretty much straight up.
He reaches for that one, pops it up. Maxwell comes in. And that's out number 1. Art Howe was talking about it on Astros Live with Abad moving from the bullpen to the rotation. You know, trying to maintain that stuff and be effective deeper into games. And the last time out he threw well and did not walk anybody, but that's the real challenge, isn't it, JD?
You know, I think it's just a matter of gaining some confidence, having success, realizing what you did well, what you did poorly, and then learning from it and building on the successes. He made a handful of starts down in the minor leagues. You know, he was sent down after working in the pen up here down to AAA to get stretched out to make this transition to the rotation, and he had been a starting pitcher at times in the minor leagues before, and a successful one.
Molina's thrown out by Gonzalez. 2 outs.
You just have to learn how to navigate your way around, you know, these tough major league lineups. Who to challenge, when to give in, when to kind of tiptoe around a hitter in a dangerous situation. He was going along nicely in that last start. He'd allowed 1 run through 4, and then the bottom of the order got him in the 5th. Cosmo, the shortstop, did a triple, I believe, and then with the infield pulled in, Kyle Loesch chopped a double over the third baseman.
Matt Carpenter has good numbers. He's contributed in different positions in the order. There's strike 1. Carpenter has 11 pinch hit runs batted in and a 300 average overall. He's on a 4-game hitting streak. A versatile sort who's taking over third for the injured David Freese tonight. With a 1-1 count. Matt was born in Galveston, went to Elkins High School in the Houston area, and then on to TCU. His father Rick coached at Elkins. Looks at that for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Carpenter. Cardinals are 82 and 71, 11 games over 500, 10 games off the lead pace being set by the Reds, who have clinched the division.
Different game plan for Abad, a real balanced mix between the fastball and the off-speed stuff. To the lefties, it's mostly curveballs. To the right-handed hitters, he'll throw more changeups.
It certainly is a contrast in the way these 2 starters are working tonight so far.
It's the finesse lefty and the prototypical hard-throwing right-hander. Big burly righty who can chunk it up there. That one said 94 miles an hour.
That's surprising.
You know, we saw him at times in relief light up the radar gun a little bit more than you would anticipate. Since he's moved back into the rotation, he's mostly been 88, 89.
Carpenter with a check swing foul, stays in there 2-2.
Tried to change up there. Yeah, we'll can see if he can get up to that 93, 94 mile an hour range again. If maybe that was just a bad read. Maybe a bird flew by the gun or something. I don't know. Probably changes to people's scouting reports if he can throw 94.
Yes, he will. Now a full count to Carpenter. Carpenter has started at first base, third, right field, left, and second base. And that's ball 4. He coaxes a 2-out walk and brings up Descalzo. Descalzo at 223 with 4 homers has driven in 23. Carpenter the base runner. Another lefty on lefty setup here. The Cardinals are 29-17 in games started by opposing southpaws.
Descalzo, he's an against the grain hitter. He's been really good against lefties, and he hasn't hit righties well at all.
That's up
Time for an adjustment. Yeah, good visit here by Castro. Just rushing a little bit, maybe feeling a little chipper because he does have that good lively fastball going all of a sudden. But stay back, get that ball downhill.
Jordan Lyles started yesterday, and the Pirates won at 8-1. Lyles.
Yeah, here comes Nate. He's something bothering him. You see with the body language. My goodness. This season's lasting a couple weeks too long.
Yes, it is.
Guys are dropping like flies.
Bud Norris is supposed to start Wednesday and still down to be the starter, but he's had flu-like symptoms in addition to blister problems. Lucas Harrell and Jaime Garcia are the starters tomorrow night. Chris Carpenter will go for St. Louis against Bud Norris Wednesday night.
Saw Doug Brocail on the phone there out to CB in the Astros bullpen. Nobody throwing, but the guy stretching, getting ready just in case. Wow.
Wow. Boy, he's coming out of this game with 2 outs in the second inning with no score. Back in a moment. second inning, but Fernando Abad has just left with an injury after 30 pitches. So we'll get to some AT&T trivia now. What three Astro catchers have played the most games behind the plate for Houston?
Osmus Ashby won 2, pretty easy.
Yeah. 3 not so easy.
3 a little tougher.
Go with a Greg Biggio? Do you go with a John Edwards?
I was thinking Johnny Edwards.
Bateman. Chris Burke is in the house working for MLB.com, broadcasting the game with Tom Dorr tonight. Good to see Berkey again. Here's the 18th inning blast of Joey Devine.
Can't throw Berkey there, Joey Devine. Don't drop down and throw that cement mixer slider.
Game-winning homer in the 18th. And the 05 Division Series to beat the Braves.
I wonder if Berkey cues that up anytime he's a little bummed out. I think I'll just go to the videotape and watch me hit a game-winning home run in the 18th.
Mike Gallo joining the dog pile there. And good to see Chris Burke back tonight. Fernando Rodriguez has been warming up, JD.
Well, yeah, Fernando coming in with the injury. Didn't he just do this just the other day?
He did it Friday.
Familiar. Yeah.
3 1/3 innings Friday night against the Pirates.
He was really good in that one. Got the win.
That was a career high in innings pitched for him in a major league game. Yes, he was good. And strike one there to Descalso. Evens the count at 1-1. So Abad throwing 30 pitches, giving way now to Efrod. And that bullpen's going to come in for a lot of action tonight. Thursday's an off day. That will help a little bit on down the road. It's 2-1.
We got what? How many relievers out there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys.
Well, there's Mickey Story. He's up. He's going to be doing some stretching probably pretty soon. Chucky Fick would be expecting that the phone might ring with his name attached to that call. Those are, of course, Chucky pitched a couple of innings yesterday, so maybe not for him. Those two guys would normally be thinking that they might be used in a situation like this. 3-1. Pete Kozma's on deck. And the throw goes over on Carpenter. Carpenter has 1 steal in 2 tries. Cardinals are 12th in the league in stolen bases. Foul back. And it's 3-2 to Descalso. Now the runner automatically will go on the next pitch. Well, Milwaukee got whacked at Washington today, 12-2. As Jordan Zimmerman went to 12-8 with a win, beating Estrada, who's 4-7. That drops the Brewers 3 behind the Cardinals in the wild card situation right now, tied with the Dodgers at 79-74.
Dodgers idle tonight. Brewers move on to Cincinnati for a 3-game series.
They're going, and it's pulled into right field past the diving Wallace into the corner. And Carpenter is being sent home by Jose Oquendo. And he will score. Here's the relay to third by Gonzalez, and not in time. The throw gets away. It's 1-0 Cardinals. Descalso, who came to the plate with 5 triples, lines up at third again.
Well, a great swing of the bat by Daniel Descalso. We showed you those splits. He's been far better against lefties than righties this year, but this was very impressive swing of the bat on a 3-2 fastball from Fernando Rodriguez. Barrels that one up pretty well. Brett Wallace had just moved behind the runner, but still, even with the increased range, couldn't flag that one down. The ball's handled by Laird at third. They might have Descalso.
They might have. 6 triple for Descalso. Now Pete Kozma bats.
by him in no time. Really well struck by Descalzo, and somewhat fortunate that he wasn't caught at third base.
Ozma hit his first major league homer yesterday at Chicago. Filling in for the injured Rafael Furcal. He has a 1-1 count.
He's a play at third base. Kind of a tough short hop to handle for Laird, but if he does, Descalzo's likely out. The dreaded third out at third base.
Yeah. That's jacked to left field, and Kozma has hit another major league homer. That's 2 in 2 games for him. The Cardinals lead it 3-0 as Kozma hits number 2, giving him 7 runs batted in.
Kozma had the big blow against the Astros in the Abad game in St. Louis. The triple that got things going.
153 long balls for the Redbirds, and they lead it by 3.
You got to be careful not to let these guys at the bottom of the order sneak up on you. Kozma does not have a lot of big league time. He didn't hit for much average in the minor leagues, but he did display some power. And that's a fastball that was intended to be down and away, and it just ran back over the heart of the plate.
3-0, and it's Lance Lynn batting, taking strike 1. For Fernando Abad, it's 1 2/3 innings pitched, no hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And on the curve, Lynn swings. It's 0-2.
Yeah, there was 1 ball counted on Descalzo when Fernando came into the game. And under that situation, he's Fernando's guy, not Abad's.
Right.
Fernando's guy.
Yeah.
Got multiple Fernandos here.
Yeah. Good point. Fernando's hideaway.
Abad's guy. You look marvelous.
1-2 to Lance Lynn, who has 3 hits and 46 at bats, and 0.65 average. And Fernando Abad was clicking along through this Cardinal lineup until the walk to Carpenter. A 2-out walk that got things rolling here, and then after ball 1 to Descalzo, Abad yielding to Rodriguez, who gave up the RBI triple and the 2-run homer. So a big inning here at the bottom of the order for the Redbirds. They've had plenty of those against the Astros this year. They've hit .307 as a team against Houston, scoring 78 runs in 12 games. And the Kozma home run was the 16th long ball by a Cardinal against an Astro this year. This is game number 13. 13, rather. Strike 3. And 3-run score on 2 hits. The Redbirds jump out to a 3-0 second inning advantage. Houston. You know about Ashby and Ausmus. Ausmus the all-time leader. Ashby second. Johnny Edwards is third, 634.
Got one right. We're finishing strong.
John Bateman fourth, 526. Tony Eusebio fifth, 511. Greg Biggio caught 428. And we have Humberto Quintero in seventh place. Louis Pujols, Mark Bailey, and Scott Service rounding at the top 10 in games caught in Astros history. Jason Castro, 264 with 3 homers, has driven in 26. Lance Lynn now spotted with the 3-0 lead towards the second inning after a delay in the top half of the frame, throwing strike one. He struggled in the first, and that's his 29th pitch of the game. It's strike one to Castro.
This 3-run margin will allow him to be aggressive here as he faces the bottom of the order in the second to try to get back on track in terms of the pitch count.
No balls, 2 strikes to Castro, who went 2 for 3 Saturday night and provided the game-winning 3-run homer in the 7th inning off Kevin Correa of Pittsburgh. Swings at that one. It takes off, and he might be able to make this. Molina with a long throw doesn't get it there in time. Oh, a strikeout, and Castro reaches on strikeout number 3 of the night for Lynn.
Whatever it takes. It's a strikeout wild pitch. And for the second inning in a row, the Astros have the leadoff man aboard. It was a Lowry double that got things started last inning. Castro, the good heady player that he is, sees that breaking ball in the dirt and says, I'm going to swing and miss.
That's a rally starter. Marwin Gonzalez comes up at 2:30 with 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. Fernando Rodriguez coming out to the on-deck circle. Nobody warming up in the bullpen. And it's ball one. Gonzalez, that first play of the game in St. Louis when he started at shortstop, tweaked that ankle again that's been bothering him. He was smiling about that around the batting cage tonight. A tough go for him here, because twice he's injured that right ankle. He lines one into left center field. Castro to second base on the single by Gonzalez. First and second, nobody out. For the pitcher now, Rodriguez.
A little inside out swing there from Marwin. Playing a little pepper with the left fielder. An opportunity for Fernando to get a bunt down and push them both along.
He has not been to the plate this season. Now first baseman Craig is creeping in.
I think he got up there the other day in that game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Strike one. Okay, we're looking on the stat sheet, and that is not reflected, but you're right. He did get in. And struck out. He didn't make the stat sheet.
He's like, it doesn't count against me.
They completely ignored his strikeout. It's just nice to be ignored.
Doing a lot of jockeying there, and he doesn't have a lot of experience in the batter's box. And I think if you're going to bunt here, don't try to be coy about it. Just square early. Try to get the ball down. Don't try to be too fine. It's a tough situation. He hasn't had many opportunities. Probably hasn't worked on it since spring training.
Yeah. Craig's creeping in from first. So is Carpenter from third, and that's a foul bunt. It's 0-2 for Lance Lynn.
Yeah, and the corner infielders, when they see a guy in the batter's box struggling to get a bunt down like this, they're like sharks in the water. They start to become very, very aggressive with an idea towards making a play on a pop-up or nailing a lead runner. Primary strategy here for the Cardinals with this 3-run lead early is just to make sure you get an out. But given the opportunity to nail a lead runner, they're going to go for it. Actually had a wheel play on there with the shortstop covering third, so they're coming very aggressively.
1-2.
And then the other thing that Fernando has to be aware of, sometimes in this situation you're working so hard at getting the bunt down, and the guy will get to put it down and become a spectator. You got to make sure you run hard down the line so you don't get doubled up.
Struck him out.
It's rather insignificant at this point.
4th strikeout for Lynn. Now Jed Lowry, who doubled to left center. He's now 3 for 7 against Lance Lynn. Left-handed hitters are hitting .268 against Lynn compared to right-handers .244. Scott Moore's on deck.
These are big at-bats here to try to take advantage of these early opportunities. The Astros left the bases loaded in the first. Now first and second, nobody out to start the second inning. The guys at the back end of the Cardinal bullpen have been worked awfully hard lately. So, Mike Matheny is hoping for a blowout win tonight where he could shut his guys down. Boggs and Mott.
Pulled on the ground, and there's a diving play. Craig gets up and gets the out at first. Castro to third, Gonzalez to second, 2 outs.
Craig does not get high marks for his glove work, but he makes a fine play here. Ball stayed down on him, and he was able to corral it before it took off for the right field corner.
And Scott Moore on a 2-0 pitch. Ripped a line drive to left center. John Jay caught it with an excellent play in the first inning. Sure had A.J. Burnett's number yesterday with a double, a single, and a homer in tight ball 1. Astros are 10-11 in the month of September. They are 3-3 at home against St. Louis this year. They lost all 6 in St. Louis. It's a good pitch on the corner, 1-1. The Orioles won today, beating Toronto 4-1 in Baltimore.
It's game 1 of a day-night doubleheader. Jays have a 4-2 lead after 4 in the nightcap. Still sitting on that heater.
Moore takes it for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's quite a race in the AL East. And another one in the AL Central.
White Sox and Tigers scuffling.
Foul back. The Angels have been coming on lately, but they still have some ground to make up.
In the Central, the White Sox have lost 5 in a row after having won 5 in a row. Detroit dropped 2 in a row. They've played just 500 baseball over the last 10 games. Sox lead the Tigers by a game. They're both playing tonight. Tigers lead Kansas City 5-1. That's in the 6th, and Cleveland leads the White Sox 1-0 middle of the 3rd.
You're not going to want to lose to Cleveland. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Scott Moore.
He's got a base open. And the way Moore's been swinging it, I would imagine in their pregame meeting they talked about that. This is a guy you might want to be careful with in certain situations.
He rips a line drive to right. That'll score 1 to make it a 3-1 ball game. RBI single. Scott Moore went down and hammered the breaking pitch into right field for his 25th run batted in. Astros scoring. Gonzalez to third.
And normally when you're a guy like Lance Lynn and you're thinking be careful with the guy, that means don't give in with the 3-2 fastball. So he did come with the breaking pitch. And Moore just does a real nice job staying back, going down and delivering that solid line drive single. Marwin Gonzalez still bothered by the bad ankle, kind of limping around third base, so they're not going to push it with him.
Yeah, he's really gimpy right now.
You know it's bad when you're in September with all these call-ups and you still got to play a guy who's banged up the way Marwin is.
True. Tyler Green's banged up as well. Brett Wallace walked in the first inning. He shoots this liner foul. Strike 1 to Wallace. Wallace a .306 hitter against the Cardinals last year in this. the little guy will get a baseball once they toss it up to him. Yeah, a happy little fellow. His dad's making sure he doesn't throw it back.
Yeah, Dad's getting a little nervous there.
Wallace pops it up. Shallow left field. Holiday coming in. Cosma gives way to him. Holiday has it. And the Astros come up with a run in the second inning on 2 hits. They leave 2, and it's 3-1 Cardinals. Gives us a look at the American League wild card, showing you Baltimore on top, 1.5 in front of Oakland. Oakland is 2.5 in front of the Angels. Tampa Bay trails by 3.5, and Detroit 6. The interesting thing now becomes the remaining schedule, and Oakland has the most difficult remaining schedule in the American League. 6-6 against the Rangers, playing 4 at Texas, 3 at home against Seattle, and 3 at home against Texas. So 7 of the 10 remaining games for the A's are against the first place Rangers.
Yeah, so, you know, if you're an optimist and an A's fan, you say, look, we got a chance to overtake the Rangers. If you're a realist, you're saying, man, I wish we had a whole bunch of games against Kansas City. Didn't have to play 7 against the Rangers of our final 10.
John Jay leads it off. He struck out leading off the game. Laird even with the bag off the line at third.
The Angels have just the opposite. They have 2 series remaining with Seattle, 1 3-game series at Texas. The good news for the A's is they finished those final 6 games are all at home.
One and one.
Tampa Bay still on the periphery. They're 3.5 games behind Oakland.
Now the Rays just trying to shrink it down to each game and not think long term. Of course, at this point, they've been really good at closing. There's a line drive to left field. Caught by Fernando Martinez, 1 out. And Carlos Beltran will be up next. He grounded out to second in the first inning. The Cardinals have their share of banged up people too. Carlos is one of those. He's playing a little gimpy. Yadier Molina missed a game with back spasms, returning to the lineup tonight, but he's not quite feeling all that perky, one would think. Infield has shifted around for Carlos.
Time of year where the trainers really earn their keep.
Boy, don't they?
Trying to keep these guys on the field when they're in a pennant race. And in the Cardinals' case, a wild card race.
Well, the Cardinals were here and they celebrated after the final victory of the season against the Astros last year. It's 1-1. And they could be feeling really good about their final game here at Minute Maid Park this year if things go very well for them and very poorly for their pursuers in the next 3 days. They've had 3-game lead right now in the wild card. Strike for Fernando, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count with Matt Holliday on deck.
Garcia, Harrell tomorrow. Carpenter, Norris in the finale of the series. Really interested to see how Chris Carpenter throws.
Yeah. Breaking ball struck him out. Castro tags him. 2 outs. A sharp breaker from Fernando for his second K. Fourth strikeout for Astros pitchers. Beltran hit a ball just about 2 inches from his knee for a home run in Wrigley Field over the weekend. He can really go down and lift a low pitch sometimes, but not that one. Holliday struck out earlier. There's ball 1.
Yeah, we saw him do it to Julian Tavares in the playoffs.
Oh, sure did. That was amazing. In that Baltimore Game 1 win in the doubleheader over Toronto 4-1, Jim Johnson saved his 48th. 2 balls, no strikes.
For Steve Johnson, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Adam Jones hit his 32nd home run for the Birds. John Flaherty, number 5. Baltimore now has 88 wins, 65 losses. It's been really an interesting story with the Orioles and the A's. Those wild card spots this year. Foul back, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Totally unexpected to many that those 2 teams would play that well this year. Baltimore only a game behind the Yankees when play started today.
And the interesting thing about Baltimore, they've actually been outscored by their opponents this year. So they've just had one of those magical years with it. Winning all these 1-run games and this incredible extra inning streak that they're on.
Yeah.
27-9 in 1-run games, 16-2 in extra inning games. There's no way to explain that other than luck, really.
True. You realize they're 11-0 in extra inning games on the road, and if they finish at least 11-0 without losing, they would be the first team to be that good in extra inning road games in more than a century.
Since who, the Providence Grays?
Probably. Two balls, 2 strikes. The Yankees lead at Minnesota 3-0. They've played 3. And Nick Swisher hit his 23rd home run in that Yankee game. We'll check. Andy Pettitte was supposed to be the starter. Yes. Andy has thrown 3 shutout innings, giving up 4 hits so far. Boy, guys like Pettitte and Chris Carpenter come back to their rotations very late in the year. They can be a big force. At strikeout number 3 for Fernando, and it's 3-1 Cardinals in the 3rd.
2. The Astros had their first and only rain delay at Minute Maid Park. Officials decided to lay down the tarp, which they did have in those days, just to keep it down along the side there for a 19-minute delay, figuring it wouldn't take longer than that to close the retractable roof. And as I recall, they were very good. And it surprised us all how well they got the tarp out with no experience in this city. One other thing happened on this date. Former Astro Tuffy Rhodes hit his 55th home run, tying Sadaharu Oh's Japanese record. He was playing in Japan, and they had 5 games left. And they wouldn't let him hit number 56 to break the record. They walked him all the time.
Yeah. I think they have a problem with Americans breaking that record. And that was certainly demonstrated there. Justin Maxwell struck out with 2 men on his first time up. Here's ball 1. Lance Lynn leading 3-1 has given up 3 hits. He makes it a 1-1 count.
It's really not good for international relations to do that.
No.
Millions of Americans that were really pulling to see Tuffy Rhodes set that record.
Yep. Pitch to him. 1-2. Cleveland leads the White Sox, as JD mentioned, 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning at U.S. Cellular. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Lynn's a big guy. He can get a little wobbly with his mechanics from time to time, start to drift a little bit and lose command of his fastball.
He gets strikeout number 5.
The pitch is like a short reliever. Just attacks with that fastball. Not trying to paint either. He's just firing it up there. So here you go, fellas. Hit it if you can.
Holding nothing back. Fernando Martinez was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He dribbles one to first base. Alan Craig there. Tossing, and Lynn catches it. 2 outs. It's Oakland 2, Texas 1 after 2 at Arlington.
It's a tough play to make here. You got to flip it to the pitcher after he's already gone by you, and then a little fancy footwork at the bag. I'm not so sure that Lynn got there ahead of Fernando. Fernando breaking it down a little bit. Yeah, he got him.
No, but you're right. The angle from that flip, Lynn's got to look behind him, so that throws his footwork off a little bit. Brandon Laird struck out with the bases loaded to end the Astros' first inning. It's a one-hopper shortstop. Cosma taking care of a 1-2-3 third inning for Lynn and a 3-1 Cardinal lead through 3. Top of the fourth inning when Marwin Gonzalez was running the bases. In the second inning, he just didn't look like he was running very well, so apparently the ankle has acted up on him. Justin Maxwell is being moved from center field to right field. Brian Bogusevic takes over in center field in Marwin Gonzalez' number 8 spot in the order. Marwin had a hit before he left the game. And Scott Moore moves from right field to second base. And with this 3-1 ball game, the Astros had to replace Marwin Gonzalez. Here's a look when he ran the bases.
A ball he normally would score on, and just obviously significant amount of discomfort there with that ankle. So Dominguez was a scratch. Marwin had to leave early. Abad had to leave early.
Boy.
Jordan Schaefer got hit in the face with a foul ball during, or a batted ball during BP.
Really?
I think he's good to go, but
it's a tough first 3 innings.
Boys are hoping the season ends.
Wow.
Get out of here alive.
Strike to Alan Craig. Craig hit a fly ball to center in the second inning.
Good heater.
0-2. Fernando's due to bat third in the bottom of the inning. Good pitch.
They can make a living out there at 94 miles an hour.
If he can get through this fourth inning, putting up a 0. And the Astros can pinch hit for him in the bottom half. He's thrown 28 pitches so far, 19 for strikes. It's 1-2. And yesterday, the Cardinals, with Jason Mott getting his 40th save, and Mitchell Boggs got a hold, Edward Mujica got a hold. That threesome has been appearing quite often for Mike Matheny, as JD pointed out lately.
So if you hang in there late, you might have a chance to beat this club late in the ball game. That's what happened to him in Chicago after that series against the Astros, in which they used Boggs and Mott in all 3 of those ball games. They were not available. At least Mott wasn't their closer in their first game in Chicago, and they ended up losing an extra inning game, blew a 4-2 lead, and they ended up losing in 10 innings to the Cubs.
Craig won't chase, and it's a full count to Allen. Molina and Carpenter to follow.
Just asking for a little extra there. Instead of just locating like he did earlier, he's reaching back to try to find a little more on that fastball, and quite often when you do that, you lose command.
Craig hits one sharply to second. Scott Moore down on a knee, and he gets one down. That's a relief. The way Craig is hitting, as he works the count full, did hit the ball sharply. Now Molina comes up. Josh Hamilton is back in the lineup for the Rangers. His sinus issue has been resolved. It kept him out for 5 straight games. It affected his vision.
I read something about caffeine being a problem.
Okay. Yeah, it says he was taking in too much caffeine, energy drinks, and medications for other ailments, and all those things compounded and made it worse, so his vision was affected. Ball 1 to Molina. And meanwhile, Miguel Cabrera is in pursuit of a triple crown with Hamilton sitting out. Now he's tied him in the home run race. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hamilton has started 136 of the Rangers' first 152 games going into tonight. Molina Misses one high to left field. They're getting up in the seats. Yadier Molina has planted one, and that is home run number 21 for him to make it 4-1 Cardinals. Well, he has recently joined select company among Cardinal catchers who are 20 home run hitters. And there's number 21. He's one of 5 Redbirds who have hit at least 20 this year.
He's really learned how to play the power game the last couple of years.
Now Matt Carpenter comes up. Carpenter takes, and there is ball one. Ryan Braun said a few days ago that in the MVP race, Yadier Molina has to be a factor. He just has such an impact on a game in so many ways.
Yeah, he'll definitely get some votes.
Carpenter with a slicing drive left field. That is a foul ball.
I don't think he'll finish in the top 3, but he might finish in the top 5.
21st homer. He hit 20 in the previous 2 seasons. And he's really gone to the whip as far as not missing very many games. It's a career high for Molina in homers and runs batted in and runs scored and in hits.
Like after hitting a home run, somebody put those pads on for him.
Carpenter looks at it. It's a strike to Matt. That makes it 1-2. Fun to do some scoreboard watching on a September evening. We'll be doing plenty of that tonight. It's Toronto 5, Baltimore 3 in the top of the 6th inning in game 2 of that twin bill. Encarnacion hit his 41st. So he's right there, 1 game out of the home run lead. Or 1 home run out of the lead.
Yeah.
Mets are thrashing Pittsburgh 6-0 after 5 in New York. Ike Davis has hit a pair of homers, giving him 30. And the Buccos, who are 2 games under 500, are left here feeling good after the 8-1 win yesterday, but now they're scoreless so far. Been a tough ride for that club. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Saw a story today. General Manager Neil Huntington saying, well, sure, they'll analyze it. They'll see if there's any kind of a trend. The collapse in the second half this year compared to last year, but they really feel there are different reasons for what's happened to them in both of those seasons. It's grounded sharply. Diving Scott Moore, unable to flag it down, and he might be hurt. He's getting up all right. Looked like maybe the left shoulder had been painful for him when he went for that diving effort, but Carpenter's on with a single. Okay. He was just mad that he didn't get it. Going to lay out for a ball. You want to be able to snag it.
Good effort. Little face plant. Guys still care.
Oh, yeah. Descalzo with an RBI triple to right. Takes ball 1. Carpenter faked a break towards second. The ball rolled a little bit away from Castro, but not far enough for him to take off. It's ball 1. Detroit is in front of Kansas City 5-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th in the Motor City. Prince Fielder hit his 28th home run. Alex Gordon, number 12 for the Royals. Royals, while it's in the game, in relief for Texas tonight. Trailing Oakland 3-1 after 3.
Didn't even know Roy was still in the club.
Oh, off the glove. of Moore, and that trickles behind second base on a sharply hit ball by Descalzo. He'll get a single, and he's 2 for 2. That ball really smashed, and Moore tried his best to backhand it, but it got away from him. 3 straight hits now for the Redbirds.
Descalzo squared it up twice tonight. A lot of pace on that ground ball. It's got to be a knock.
It is, and it's knock number 5. Doug Brocail is out to the mound. Cosma, the batter, he hit the 2-run homer in the second inning. Now, with the Astros trailing 4-1, and the pitcher due up third in the bottom of this frame, hoping that Fernando might be able to get a double play ball here on Cosma. And the pitcher comes out on deck. Rafael Furcal is quite a loss to the Cardinals. His experience, his hitting, and all that playing into what they don't have. But Cosma is looking good in this game so far. Carpenter was trying to get a little bit bigger lead at second base. Fernando eyed him before throwing ball 1. Colorado 1, Arizona nothing. They've played 3 at Coors Field. The Rockies have lost 94.
Yeah, 9 in a row they've dropped.
Ouch. Bounce a shortstop. Lowry to second, and he really gunned it. Now Moore to first. Wow, double play on that. And that is really unusual as Cosma hit that 2 steps to Lowry's right. And 2 strong throws make it a 6-4-3 double play.
By the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. A no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. And by the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. Nifty double play by the Astros gets out of further damage, trailing 4-1 as the action continues. Here again is Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Scott Moore made a really strong throw, and with his footwork coming across the bag, it was all arm for Scott as he turned that 6-4-3 double play. Fernando Abad left the game with a right oblique strain after an inning and 2/3, picking up no hits and 1 run, walking 1, fanning 2. But Fernando Rodriguez has stepped in and gotten through the top of the 4th inning. Now the Astros trailing 4-1 come up in the bottom of the 4th, and we expect to see a pinch hitter for the pitcher due up third. Jason Castro struck out but reached on a wild pitch and scored a run on the Scott Moore single in the 2nd inning. Bogusevic is on deck. As There's a liner to center, and Jay reaches up and juggles and catches it with a bare hand.
Knock it off.
You must be kidding.
Yeah.
The circus is in town.
Wow. And this play turns into a great play. Cirque du Soleil. Step right up. Started a great game, and that ball just kept riding up on him. He was playing shallow to begin with. He plays a very daring center field, really shallow.
That is amazing. Strike to Bogusevic. Oh, boy. They'll rib him a little bit. Bogusevic at 203 has 6 homers, 26 runs batted in. It's ball 1, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Fernando Rodriguez does come out to the on-deck circle. Nobody loosening right now. There's somebody doing some stretching, but nobody throwing in the bullpen. Jose Valdez, as you see the juggling catch, is getting loose. Boy, is that amazing. Takes a little concentration.
Yeah, it sure does. You don't really practice that very often. Except for your whole life, right? You've grown up playing ball of one way or another.
True. And you never know at panic time when it's going to come in handy. Bogey fouls it back.
Little tip drill.
Boy, yeah. It does count for something at times like that. I wonder what Lance Lynn was thinking as he watched that one.
Probably thinking, why are you coming in so hard on that ball? That ball was crushed.
Yeah, it was. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes now. Bogusevic has had 349 at bats this year.
Opportunities have dwindled significantly for him in the last month or so.
Fastball and a strikeout. That's number 6. Yes, they have. I was just checking the stat sheet to see how many Astros have had 300 at bats this year. That's 5. Fernando Rodriguez is going to bat.
Really between injuries and performance issues and guys going up and down AAA. Altuve's really been the only everyday player on the club all year.
Okay, Phil Boudreau found a 6th Chris Johnson, who's not listed on the current Astros stat sheet. The guy he had over 300 when he was here. Bounce to second.
That bats are paying off.
And through 4, the Redbirds lead it 4-1.
did lose against St. Louis in his last outing. Only 3 runs and 5 hits in 5 2/3 innings. He has been superb all year. A native of Springfield, Missouri, wants to get revenge against these Cardinals. He's had some problems with them, as have the Astros. That's tomorrow night's starter, and that is your Mazda game break.
Yeah, well, Lucas Harrell's been really good here at home. And Jaime Garcia, who's going for the Cardinals, has really struggled on the road. So if you're trying to identify one game in this series where you thought the Astros had their best chance, that might be it.
Fernando Rodriguez came in with 2 outs in the 2nd inning, and he now contemplates what's ahead of him in the 5th. The pitcher leading it off, Lance Lynn, trailing 4-1.
On Wednesday, Norris goes for the Astros. He's been really good against the Cardinals in his career.
That's strike 1 to Lynn. Lynn struck out looking in the 2nd inning. Cardinals had an RBI triple in that 2nd inning from Descalzo and a 2-run homer from Cosmo. It snowballs 2 strikes. Then they got a Molina home run in the 4th inning.
The Astros might take a look at Fernando next year as a starting pitcher.
Just wondering the same thing. He's thrown 47 pitches in this game. What do you think it would require for him to be successful as a starter from what you've seen of him as a reliever?
Fastball command. You know, a lot of times you talk about a starting pitcher needing 3 pitches. He does have a changeup, but he throws certainly hard enough. He throws 95 miles an hour. Has a good curveball. So if he could just command that fastball, minimize the mistakes he makes over the heart of the plate with it, he'd have a chance.
That's number 4. Well, as you view the Astros season, now they're 15th in the league in ERA. And see what the Cardinals have done in this game. But starting pitching would be the urgent need to try to improve that category.
Yeah, obviously the Astros back-to-back 100-loss seasons, they need help everywhere on the field. But I think the quickest way to fix a bad club is with starting pitching.
John Jay is 0 for 2. Calls it for strike 1. Now they're going into the AL West, which has a lot of good starting pitching. Rangers and Angels. Oakland A's have had a good year with their pitching staff. Seattle, King Felix. In the air to left field. And Martinez coming in.
Pretty good changeup right there.
2 down. That should be interesting when the Astros come to spring training to see what their rotation looks like.
86-mile-an-hour changeup rather. You see Jay out in front of it. Popped him up.
Carlos Beltran still draws boos when he comes back to Houston. Infield shifts him around to pull. He is grounded out to second and struck out. Bouncer back to Fernando. And he has a 1-2-3 fifth. It's 4-1 Cardinals.
McCartney Invasion. McCartney's On the Run tour is coming here to Minute Maid Park on Wednesday, November 14th. Don't miss your chance to see him for the first time in nearly 7 years. Visit all Ticketmaster locations for tickets. Bill, are you as excited about this one as JD is?
Yes. Yes, JD is pumped about it, and we expect a big crowd. In fact, MC was checking online for tickets before this game tonight. We expect to see you there, Patty. That'll be our reunion. Now, bottom of the 5th inning, it's 4-1. Cardinals lead it. Jed Lowry is 1 for 2. Final home game of the season coming up Wednesday night for the Astros. Liner caught by Cosmo. Well, Lowry's 1 for 3, but he nearly had a hit in the 2nd inning. And Craig left his feet to get him, and then this time smashed a line drive to the shortstop's left.
He's pretty good at applying the barrel of the bat to the baseball.
He has excellent manual dexterity, JD. And he's also a good hitter. Scott Moore is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Strike 1 to Moore. You know, the interesting thing about this year has been guys like Scott Moore can put together, you know, a furious 2 or 3 weeks. And you think, boy, we want to see more of Scott Moore, not to use a pun, but there have been a lot of guys who have gone through streaks like that this year, and so when next year comes, sometimes it's difficult for the guys in the front office to sort that all out. Well, if we play him more, how much do we get?
Because even though the Astros are a young team, their overall average age is, I believe, the youngest in baseball right now. A lot of these guys aren't real young players. You know, they don't have a lot of old guys, but they have a lot of guys in their late, mid to late 20s that have been around a while, and they're, mostly finished products. There's enough of a body of work there to give you an idea of what they've done in the past and what they're likely to do in the future. So that's where you have to be careful when you look at a 28, 29-year-old player. If he goes off for a couple of weeks, it's not like all of a sudden he's going to turn into. And I'm not talking specifically about Scott Moore. I just mean the players of that ilk, right, are not likely to all of a sudden turn into star caliber or even everyday players. Doesn't mean they don't have a role.
Right. Well, he's in a nice stretch of work.
Right. And that's the challenge for the how does he fit on the club going forward? How does the manager use him to get him enough at bats to keep him sharp, put him in enough favorable situations where he can really deliver for you? And that was our '86 team, different team obviously with a lot of veteran guys, but really what made that team go was the balance to left-right with all the switch hitters and the platoons. On any given night, you could run out a pretty good lineup, whether there was a righty or lefty on the mound because of that flexibility.
Yeah.
I talked with him in the interview, and after the interview, he was telling me that he doesn't hit Lynn well, but his game plan was to stay away from anything up. And he's done a great job. You notice where he's been hitting the pitches. They've been down, and he's been jerking at them. He really has a game plan, and it's showing tonight.
Yeah. Lynn, that high riding fastball can really victimize a guy who goes for that pitch.
Yeah, he said he's never hit him well before because he's done that. And tonight his game plan was to not go for anything up, look down, and he's taking advantage.
Strike to Wallace. Marwin Gonzalez had to leave the game with a left ankle sprain. 1-1 to Wallace. The Astros will be utilizing the DH next year, so that's more at bats for one additional player in the lineup. That's going to be a different way to utilize people, and they may be able to move the bench guys in and out of the lineup, have a guy DH once a week or something like that. But it's going to be a totally different makeup of the bench. 75 pitches for Lynn, 28 of those in the first inning. 3-1. Detroit beat Kansas City 6-2. A win for Justin Verlander. He goes to 16-8. He beats Luke Hochevar, who's 8-15. And the Tigers are 81-72. That puts it on the White Sox to win, and they're trailing Cleveland 3-1 in the sixth. They may be tied for first by the end of the night. As Chris Sale pitching for the White Sox tonight. Yankees lead 4-0 in Minnesota, bottom of the 6th, with Andy Pettitte still in there. Curtis Granderson hit his 40th. Wallace takes a walk, and now 2 men on for Justin Maxwell. Could ride one out of here and tie it. That's the second walk.
I talked earlier about Lynn and his mechanics, how he has a tendency to drift every now and then and lose command of the ball up and away, and that's what we saw there with Wallace. Second time Brett has walked tonight.
Sixteenth time rather, Brett has drawn a walk this season.
And that's going to be the challenge for Wallace too. Right now, when you look at his numbers, he strikes out way too much and doesn't walk enough.
Maxwell has struck out both times tonight. He lays off, and it's ball 1. You know, Maxwell in that category.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of these Astro hitters.
J-Max has 31 walks, 107 strikeouts. So can they turn those strikeouts into hits, maybe walks? Roller to shortstop. Cosma to second. Here's Descalso firing to first, and he got dumped, but he turned a double play. 6-4-3 as the Cardinals get out of the 5th with no runs, a hit, and a man left, and they lead it 4-1.
It's time now to introduce you to our progressive fans of the game. We've got Gordon, we've got Graham. They have been trying all season long to be fans of the game, and tonight's your lucky night. You were successful.
Well, we've tried hard for this. We've tweeted you quite a number of times, and we're delighted to be here with you, Patty.
Well, and you had some friends that also tweeted and said I was going to totally love your accents, and if needed a translation, they would help out. But you guys are from where?
Scotland, Aberdeen, Scotland.
And how did you become Astros fans from Scotland?
Well, actually, I used to be a soccer fan when I first moved here about 13 years ago. Unfortunately, we didn't have the dynamo, so I had to find a different sport. My wife Ellie, my daughter Hannah and I decided on baseball, and she grew up with it. We came to the games, and then it became a passion. And we just started following the game, got into more knowledge of it, and just started enjoying it.
And you told me you've been season ticket holders and you've already re-upped for next season. And what I really liked, and tell the fans what you told me about, you know, it's been a little bit of a tough season here, but you stuck with them.
Well, again, you know, where I come from, when you join a team, it's a team for life, and you stick with them through thick and thin, and I'll do that with the Astros wherever I am, and we'll bring it round again. It's just a matter of time.
Well, the persistence and the dedication keeps you as fans, also got you as fans of the games by being persistent and tweeting me. So it was a pleasure to meet you guys, and thank you for being our progressive fans of the game.
Thanks, Patty. I appreciate it. It's great fun.
All right, guys.
I love to hear him talk. Thanks, Patty. And what devotion. Matt Holliday at the plate. He struck out twice. He's 0-2 in the count now. Curveball gets away. He checked his swing on appeal to Mark Carlson. It's 1-2.
Accents are an amazing thing,
aren't they, though?
Why does somebody from one part of the world talk so much differently than talking the same language, basically?
That's great.
What if those people in Scotland, if they just sit around talking to each other, go, I love your accent, I love your accent.
They don't seem to like Americans' accents, though. That's strike 3. Third strikeout of Holliday tonight. That's number 5 for Fernando.
Comes off of that good curveball with a heater right over the heart of the plate. Holliday locked up. Just can't believe I let that go.
Yeah. Alan Craig is 0 for 2. Fly ball to center, ground ball to second. Brian McTaggart is writing at Astros.com about the Astros getting closer to choosing their manager. They had a meeting today. They've narrowed the list. We don't know how many. Strike to Craig. Jim Crane, George Postolos, Jeff Luhnow, Greg Biggio, Enos Cabell met today at Union Station. Jeff Luhnow said, we are not at a point of conclusion yet, but are getting closer. We started with a list of 45. We narrowed it down to 9. Now we're down to a relatively small number. Lowry gets in front of it. Goes low, and there's a play by Wallace for out number 2.
Boy, Wally.
Ball bounced well out in front of him. Kind of a tricky in-between type hop, JD.
Yeah, it sure was. Reached out there, cut down the angle.
Good play. Infield shifts around for Molina. Molina ripped a homer last time up after grounding to the second baseman, who is now where he was when Molina grounded out. It's a different second baseman.
They didn't put this shift on for him last time.
No.
They did a couple of times in St. Louis, put an extreme shift like this on for him. One time when Wallace was holding a base runner on first, and he had the entire right side of the infield available, and he just poked a ground ball base hit through the right side, and the Cardinals went first and third. More understandable in this situation, 2 outs, nobody on. The guy with some pop, willing to give him some room on the other side to say, go ahead and try to punch it the other way. Sacrifice perhaps an extra base hit. Molina, he's at 21 home runs this year, so he hasn't moved into that category of such a slugger that you're just willing to concede a single the other way to take away his home run stroke. But in this situation, 2 outs, nobody on, it's not a bad play.
3-1 to Molina. Molina has a .503 slugging percentage for the season. So he can do damage as he displayed last time up. The known candidates to have interviewed for the Astros managerial job are Dave Martinez, the bench coach of the Rays, Tim Bogar, the bench coach of the Red Sox, Bo Porter, third base coach of the Nationals, Tony D. And that's one into right field. Single for Molina. He's 2 for 3 in the game. Brad Ausmus interviewed, took himself out of the running, and Larry Boa also did that same thing.
It's interesting that they started with a list of 45 names.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Sure is. Matt Carpenter walked and scored in the second inning. He singled in the fourth. So they're not down to 1 yet, but getting close. Apparently Ozzie Guillen is in hot water with the Rays, with the Marlins rather. Made a remark about the owner, Jeffrey Loria, that is not going down too well, according to reports.
Hey, what did he say?
I don't know exactly. I couldn't really quote you, but it spoke to the fact that everybody in the organization has to be a part of what they've done with this dismal season. You know, he mentioned the players, the manager, the general manager, the owner. So the owner didn't take it too well, apparently. No balls, 2 strikes. But it's been so disappointing. Apparently, according to reports, and the attendance has been so far below what they projected. They blew up the payroll. They may lose money on paper this year.
Heath Bell threw Ozzie under the bus, too.
Did he?
Yeah. On a local radio show in Miami. Bell, who had really struggled earlier, was taken out of the closer's role and has not returned to that job, so he's a little bitter. And he said it's hard to respect a guy that doesn't tell you the truth or doesn't tell you face to face. That's what Bell had to say about Ozzie.
Yeah, because he was on camera when he told him he had his back, right? And that
you can have a guy's back, but doesn't mean he's going to get his job back.
Right. Agree with you. Smacked into center field.
Locked in.
Yeah, Carpenter with a good swing. He gets Molina to second base.
He's going to start tonight. Bottom of the order. One of the games in St. Louis, the bottom of the order did a lot of the damage too. And here's Carpenter, a guy who wasn't in the lineup. Descalzo scalded the ball twice. Cosma hit a home run. And at 68 pitches, after getting stretched out a little bit on Friday, he might be about out of bullets.
He's in longer than I thought he would be. Just because of that recent long outing on Friday. Jose Valdez warming up. First 4 batters 0 for 12, 5 through 8, 7 for 9. It was last Tuesday night that St. Louis 4-1 win. Descalzo batting 7th, had an RBI single and a walk, scored a run. Cosma hitting 8th, had a triple. And Loesch chopped that RBI double you talked about earlier. So their 7, 8, 9 did a job on the Astros in that game. And now Valdez is getting ready.
Just to finish up on the Heath Bell thing, I think you always got to be wary of a player ripping a manager when he's had a bad year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just
not good form.
Guys have a little axe to grind.
There's ball 1. I was just wondering the other day about the Astros for next year. You know, some of these clubs, like the Marlins, are going to be pretty intent to unload some rather high salaried players who were non-productive guys. 2 balls, no strikes. The Astros have room to add players to their payroll for next year, but will have to be careful in terms of their long-term mission, you know, rather than trying to get a short-term fix and adding a guy who might not be a fit for this situation. But on the other hand, if you think he's going to return to form, it might be a good short-term help. 2 balls and a strike.
I think that's the type of player Jeff Luhnow will be looking for this winter. I mean, he doesn't want to change their direction. They're talking about building through the minor league system, and you know, so they don't want to throw a bunch of money at a high-priced free agent at this stage of their development. They're not really there yet. It's going to make sense to add a piece or 2. They're just not going to make that much of a difference.
Right. Near the left field line, Fernando Martinez coming over, and now he makes a running catch alongside Laird, who gave way to him, and that's out number 3 in the top of the 6th inning. 4-1 St. Louis.
We've been telling you about Emily Rippert, the host of a new program called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's on live the first time, at least, not live, but first time, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Fox Sports Houston. But I'm going to push hometownkids.tv for more information, because not only if you go there, you can actually watch past episodes if you're behind. Just want to keep that in mind, because we've been talking about it all year long, guys.
We're way behind, Greg.
Yeah, well, you
way
can watch
behind.
Hometownkids.tv. All the episodes are there.
Strike to Fernando Martinez. He was hit by a pitch and he grounded out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-1. Lance Lynn and the Redbirds have the lead. And John Jay just moved several steps over toward left center before that pitch. It's 1-1. Shot on the ground to Cosma. 1 out for Lynn. Lance Berkman is a hometown kid back in town. He wasn't born here, but we claim him. Good to see Lance, and he's trying to get that knee back to where it allows him to play again this year.
Just a little bit bored.
Lance doesn't like inactivity. Strike 2, Brandon Laird. He's 0 for 2. Josh Hamilton has awakened. He missed 5 games with that sinus problem. He has belted home run number 43 to take over the AL lead. And it was a 441-footer against Oakland. Yoenis Cespedes had hit his 21st for the A's, and it's 3-2 Oakland after 5. Hamilton's just scary. He could go on some unbelievable jags both ways.
Yeah, he went into a hellacious slump this summer after just a torrid start. There are times when you watch him playing, you think there's nobody better than baseball close to this guy.
Yeah.
Any given night, you know, it's kind of like Beltran when we had him here. Just can do anything on a baseball field. The glove, the speed, the power, a big arm, and just put one great at bat after another, hit 500-foot home runs, and then bunt for a hit, and you'd marvel at him. And then he did go into that long slump, and you wondered what is going on with this guy.
2 outs, and Castro looks at a strike. Jason has struck out, but he reached on a wild pitch and scored, and then he blistered that line drive on the juggling catch, John Jay.
I'm watching John Jay out there. He's playing center field like an infielder. He's moving before every pitch.
Yes.
Based on the catcher as Molina sets up, and Jay, if he sees what's coming, if he can, I don't know if he can see the catcher signals from out there, if he's just waiting till Molina moves. But he's cheating a step or two. Whenever Lynn throws that 2-seamer away to a lefty, he'll cheat a couple steps towards the alley and left center.
2 balls, 1 strike to Castro. Yankees lead 6-0, bottom of the 7th at Minnesota. It's 3-1 to Jason. Well, the Yankees and Baltimore have not been more than 1 game apart since September 3rd. That's the longest streak in September that 2 clubs have been that close together for the lead since 1889.
Providence Grays again?
I think you're right. 3 balls, 2 strikes. As Lynn still has something left to challenge upstairs.
That's the high fastball that Greg was talking about that Scott Moore made a personal pledge not to swing at tonight. Chief Justice made that sparkling play on Castro last time Jason was up there.
No errors. Oh, it's a rocket powered fastball for strikeout number 8. And through 6, it's 4-1 Redbirds.
If it's a stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. Let's take a look at the game summary. It all started in the second inning when Fernando Abad cut loose with a pitch and felt a twitch in his side. Turned out to be it was a bleak strain. He had to leave the game, and Fernando Rodriguez relieved him, but he was whacked. This is Cosmo with a 2-run homer, 3-run inning in the second. Molina homered in the fourth to make it 4-0. The Astros got 1 run back, and red-hot Scott Moore came up in the second inning and ripped a single, but that's the only run they've gotten back as the play goes to the top of the 7th, and the Cardinals lead it 4-1. Here's Browning.
Thanks, Greg. Jose Valdez in the game, and it's Pete Kozma batting for the 3rd time. He has the 2-run homer that you saw and the double play ball. And he gets ball 1 after quite a job by Fernando Rodriguez. Valdez takes over with no decisions. His ERA is 2.08.
Starting Cosmo with a split finger pitch. Fastball breaking ball splitter for Valdez. And then comes back with a heater just off that outside corner.
It's 2-0.
The good and the bad from Fernando Rodriguez tonight. A couple of long balls, but he also punched out 5 and didn't walk anybody.
Yep. 4 1/3 innings in relief for his personal high. He allowed 7 hits, 3 runs with no walks, struck out 5, including the Cosmo homer and the Molina homer. But called in the second inning on short notice after the Abad injury. That's a nice stint to help the other guys in the bullpen. And he's kept the game within reach. 3 balls, 1 strike. That's a walk to Cosmo. Now Lynn will have a chance to bunt him up. Walk number 2 for Astros pitching tonight. Tampa Bay Rays are idle tonight. They are sitting on a 5-game winning streak right now. They could be the 3rd team to reach the playoffs by overcoming a deficit of 6 games or more with 14 left or fewer. If they do it, the bunt going foul, strike 1. The 64 Cardinals did it, and the 51 Dodgers did it. But they are 3.5 behind Oakland coming into play tonight.
And they've got to jump over a couple of clubs where in those instances they just have to beat out one other club.
They have the Angels in front of them. Bunted, and this one is in between everybody, and it's going to be a throw to first in time. Whoa, no, safe. Wallace's foot was off the bag, and Tony D comes out after the safe call by Mark Carlson. Wallace was there, but Carlson said his foot was not on the base. Well, at first it looked like it would be a hit, but then Scott Moore scrambled, and Wallace was backpedaling to get there, and it looked like they might have him out.
Yeah, well, then the big pitcher doesn't run well, so they still had a chance to get him. And Wally missed initially, went back for it the second time. The second time he got there, but the question is, did he get there before Lynn? You'll see this initial try comes up short. You saw that from the other angle. And it looked like he either brushed the top of the bag or missed it entirely the second time as well. Just misses it there, and then I think Carlson got it right.
Well, he certainly had a good look at it. Now the umpires are going to confer.
I don't know that anybody, I don't know why they're meeting on this one. It's not like anybody's going to have a better look than Carlson, who's right on top of the play.
Well, if he did touch the base, we'll say with the spikes, he had his foot over the base before the arrival of Lynn. If he got his spike on there, Hard to tell from that angle, certainly.
And I'm surprised they're even conferring on this one.
Safe was the call. So now it's first and second, nobody out. And I believe Scott Moore drew the error on that. Okay, it's on Wallace. It's Wallace's 7th error of the year. Now first and second with John Jay batting. Jay is 0 for 3. First and third baseman in tight for him. He bunts it, and it's a good one. Here's a throw to third, not in time. Bad choice by Valdez. And the bases are loaded.
If you're the Cardinals, aren't you inclined to bunt again?
Sure. Keep it going.
On a hot streak with the bunt in Jose. That's an ill-fated attempt. Especially once he has to turn his body all the way around that other way to make that throw to third base. That's a play where Castro should have been screaming at him to throw that ball to first. Maybe even to second with Lynn running.
Yeah.
They've been able to make a play on him.
Good job by Cosma. Now bases loaded, nobody out. And Carlos Beltran batting. He's 0 for 3.
Credit Jay with the sacrifice and fielder's choice.
0 for strike one. Not the ideal guy you want to be facing in this situation. Driven in 91 this year. Cosmo, Lynn, and Jay, the base runners.
Yeah, that's the anatomy of a big inning, right? You don't get outs on bunt plays. A leadoff walk, couple of bunts where no outs are converted.
Ooh, pitch. 0-2.
Of course, the way the Cardinals have been tonight, you're right there where you want to be. The guys at the bottom have done all the damage, but the big boys, Beltran, Holiday, Craig, have done nothing so far.
Top 3 hitters are 0 for 10, make it 0 for 13 through the top 4. Swing and a miss, and not a good swing either for Beltran. Just a defensive type jab stroke. Strikeout, 1 out.
Holiday with a hat trick already tonight. He struck out in the first, third, and then looking at a fastball from Fernando Rodriguez in the 6th.
Holiday's driven in 8 against the Astros this year. 4 grand slams in his career this year, 5 for 11 with the bases loaded for Holiday. Cardinals have 7 hits to the Astros 4. Houston has 1 error. Now back, strike 1.
A little bit of a hanging split finger pitch there.
Sure was. Toronto got 4 in the 7th and leads 9-4 at Baltimore after 7. Pirates are batting in the 9th, trailing the Mets 6-1 at New York. And tied. 1-1.
Earlier today, the Washington Nationals thumped the Brewers 12-2. Brewers dropped a half a game to the Cardinals with that loss, and they'll move on to Cincinnati for a 3-game series. Nice to hear that Dusty Baker is finally out of the hospital.
Yeah. He may not return before the postseason. He's being told to really take it easy with that irregular heartbeat. Not a good idea to return to the bench and start managing again. Well, right away anyway. 2 balls and a strike. The Reds are 92-61. Washington 92-60 as they vie for the best record in the league. Just before today, and Washington got that win today.
Washington has not yet clinched the division. They've clinched the playoff spot, but they haven't clinched the division yet.
Good point.
Got a comfortable lead over Atlanta, but continue to play hard for both that division crown and home field advantage.
Mike Matheny just turned 42 yesterday. And a miss by Holiday, and that's
nasty here.
Yeah, 2-2 count.
95 with Sink. You know Holiday's looking to swing the stick here, so he's going out of the zone to try to do some damage. Should be able to take advantage of that. He's punched out 3 times already. He's got the bases loaded. His fortunes could turn around with one swing of the bat, and as a pitcher, you want to take advantage of that and see if he'll chase another one out of the zone. I give in if a guy's willing to get himself out.
Castro's going out. Alan Craig's on deck. Warm-up action for the Astros in their bullpen. Looks like Chucky Fick from a distance. Chucky. $12,584 the attendance. That's ball 3, and it's a full count now. Big pitch coming here with the Cardinals up by 3, bases loaded, 1 out, a 3-2 count to Holiday. Ground ball into left center field. That'll score Cosma, and Lynn is coming home to make it 6-1. Here's the throw, cut off. Lowry relays to second, not in time there. Cardinals lead on the 2-run hit by Holiday, and he winds up at second base. Came around to score the second run there.
Single 2 RBIs, little bobble here by Bogusevic. Jay takes third, Holiday into second.
An error on Bogusevic. That allows the runners to move up a base, and it's a 2-run single by Holiday. That gives him 100 runs batted in. Now the infielders come in for Alan Craig. He's 0 for 3. 1 out, runners at second and third. Pops it up. That'll stay up there for a while. Scott Moore coming over. 2 down. Molina will be next. He has a homer and a single in 3 trips. And Molina is hitting over 320. He's been in the top 5 in the batting race. Andrew McCutchen began the night at 336. Buster Posey was second at 332. If you discount Melky Cabrera, who's at 346, he will not win. It's ball 1 to Molina. Ryan Braun is 2 points behind Molina, 317 prior to games today. Braun, a strong MVP candidate again this year, leads in homers, and he's tied for the RBI lead. Astros will be dealing with him when they go on the final road trip of the year, beginning in Milwaukee on Friday. It'll take some getting used to come next year without the Astros in the NL Central and with the Astros in the AL West. 1 ball and 2 strikes. See what we have for MVP candidates this year in the National League. Buster Posey, Ryan Braun, Andrew McCutchen are 3. How about Posey hitting 350 in September?
Yeah, just since the All-Star break, he's been unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, there's probably other guys you could put out there on that panel, but those would be the three that come to mind for me.
Still 1-2. Craig Kimbrell is drawing some support, the Braves closer.
For MVP?
That's Cy Young. Yeah, you're right. Good question.
I mean,
no, not MVP. Cy Young. Yeah.
Willie Hernandez won an MVP, didn't he?
True.
Relief pitcher for the Tigers back in '84.
'84, yeah, he did.
Eckersley, Eck got one too, I think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I meant to say Cy Young for Kimbrell. Inside, whoa. And Molina had one of these episodes in Chicago, and that's how he hurt his back, being out of the way of an inside pitch there. He had to miss a game.
That's that two-seam fastball running hard in on Molina. A little push-up to get out of the way. Or more of a lay-down than a push-up.
Yeah. Winds up with the prone position.
He's planking.
Forgot all about planking.
And why wouldn't you, really?
That was a quick trend, wasn't it? 3-2 with 2 outs.
As a matter of fact, since the All-Star break, only Buster Posey hitting for a higher average than Yadier Molina in the National League. Yadi hitting .338, Posey .383 in the second half.
Catchers, they didn't like that in the second half. That's nuts. Molina walks to load the bases. Second walk of the inning.
I think it's because they've been catching all those pitches all year long. They're dialed in. They know they're so used to seeing the ball move. And there's nothing that can fool them. And right behind Molina is Marco Scudero, who's been a real nice addition to the Giants. He's hitting .336 in the second half.
Matt Carpenter has a walk and 2 singles. David Freese was injured and had to be taken out of the game, and Carpenter was the guy who took the field at third base after the lineup cards had been handed in. So he's really cashed in on this playing time tonight, and there's ball 1. He's the 8th Cardinal to bat here in the 7th inning. Baltimore trailing Toronto. It's 9-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Baltimore now is 6-0 against Toronto at Camden Yards this year. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Looks like the Orioles are going to lose a half a game to the Yankees, who are comfortably in front of the Twins 6-0. They're in the 8th in Minnesota.
If Pettit wins that one, Andy is 10-1 in his last 14 starts against the Twins. It's 1-2 to Carpenter. Oakland 4, Texas 2. They've played 6 in Arlington. Carpenter strikes out. And in the 7th inning, the Redbirds come up with 2 more runs. And they lead it 6-1.
It's here. Come on out to Minute Maid Park Wednesday, September 26th. As 10,000 fans will take home a J.R. Richard back-to-back 300 strikeout seasons bobblehead, courtesy of Xfinity. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com or by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys, you heard Greg Lucas talk about shaking JR's hand and what he does to you. Well, if you're a female and he hugs you, let me tell you, you are getting crushed.
Yeah. Ryan Bogusevic leads it off. I've been crushed with that handshake, too. Bogusevic looks at ball one. The Astros trailing now by 5 as Bogey comes around for the second time. He struck out in the 4th inning. Jay continues to move around pitch to pitch in center field. That's ball 2. He's hopping in center. Yeah. Only about 3-4 steps.
Be careful not to move early. He's going to tip his pitcher's hand to the hitter.
That's true. 2 balls and a strike. And now he moved a couple steps toward left center, and the pitch was outside, but not early enough for anybody to pick up on it on the Houston side. Three and 2 for Lance Lynn.
Early on, it looked like Lance Lynn might have a hard time pitching deep into this game as the Astros put a little pressure on him early. A lot of base runners, high pitch counts first couple of innings.
Now he's mowing them down.
Yeah, and he's also had 3 of the last 4 innings have gone 3 up, 3 down. He's been able to keep that pitch count under control. He's still under 100 pitches, and he gets bogey again with that elevated fastball.
That's 9 strikeouts. He's thrown 97 pitches. Pinch hitter will be Jimmy Paredes, hitting for Valdez. Valdez in 1 inning allowed 1 hit and 2 runs. Had 2 walks and 2 strikeouts.
That was just an ugly inning there. Leadoff walk, couple of miscues on bunt plays.
Strike to Paredes. 197 average for Jimmy. No homers. He's driven in 3. He's had 66 major league at bats. 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. It's 1-1. Sam Freeman's warming up.
He's becoming the go-to left-hander out there for the Cardinals. Kaczynski, who was so good for them last year, has really struggled.
Well, the postseason can be so different too, but this time of year, a manager's kind of got his eye on the postseason. If his club does make it, wondering, you know, if certain guys like a Sam Freeman, can he step up in postseason? Can we use him that way?
The feel of these games for the Cardinals are very much like the postseason. So he's getting his baptism right here and now.
Good point.
He's continued to sit on that heater. Rely on it heavily. 89% of his offerings.
Well, Mike Matheny could have a very fresh Chris Carpenter for postseason play. That's got to be pretty exciting for him to think about that possibility. He's got Wainwright, he's got Loesch, he's got Lynn. It's good depth for a postseason rotation. A lot of managers will only use 3 starters postseason.
I think one of the most interesting questions for all these potential wild card teams is who do you use in that one and done game? Who do you go to? If you have an option, depending on how, if you have to run it out to get there, whoever's up in your rotation pitches, but you have time to set it up. Who do you hand that ball to?
John Jay back in left center field for this Jimmy Paredes drive with the catch. 2 outs. Well, just looking at those guys in the rotation, Jaime Garcia has had his problems on the road, and they would be on the road, wouldn't they? They'd be at Atlanta as of right now if the season ended today. Nonetheless, whoever's rested might be a good choice for the Cardinals because they do have that depth.
Yeah, well, normally you would say, Carpenter or Wainwright. Those are the guys you think of as front of the rotation type guys. But Loesch has had the best year of any of them.
Yes, he has.
I think a lot in terms of Carpenter, yet to be determined what they get out of him. I saw some of his start against the Cubs. He was not throwing hard. He was throwing 89 miles an hour. He's just such a good competitor.
He is.
Such a smart pitcher.
Lowry gets a hit through the left side. He's 2 for 4 tonight. He's had 4 good at bats.
Hit the ball in that direction last time on a line to the shortstop. This time he's able to find that hole between third and short.
That's 5 hits for the Astros. Scott Moore has 2 of those 5, and he drove in a run with his single in the second inning on a breaking pitch. He lined it to right field. Ball 1 to Moore.
Right now things setting up well for Mike Matheny tonight, a night in which he wants to rest his horses at the back end of his bullpen. He's got a 5-run lead. But if Moore were to pop one here, that would change the dynamics.
He hits one in the air to left center field. Holiday back toward the bullpen fence, and he reaches up and catches it. To end the 7th inning with no runs a hit and a man stranded after 7, it's 61 Redbirds. The second inning and has added to it. The starting pitcher for tomorrow's game, brought to you by Chevron. Here are the starters, and also the next night, Wednesday night, it's Garcia and Harrell. Tomorrow night, it's Carpenter and Norris. Wednesday night, both times 6:30 for Astros Live. And the Redbirds trying to beat the Astros for the 9th time in a row. Will be facing Chucky Fick. He's 0-1 with a 4.57 ERA.
Chucky's got bottom of the order up here. Descalzo, who's had a nice night. Cosma, who's also had a good night. And then the pitcher's spot, in all likelihood, a pinch hitter.
Descalzo had the RBI triple in the second to make it 1-0 Redbirds, and he scored on the 2-run homer by Cosma. In the 4th inning, he singled, and in the 6th, he hit a fly ball. Almost hit him, and it's ball 1. Chucky was talking about playing for Mike Matheny earlier this year. He loved it. It's in the air to center. Bogusevic backing on it. Foul number 1. Matheny certainly a different personality than Tony La Russa, different style, but the results have been good for him as well this year. Pete Cosma has a 2-run homer, also a walk tonight in 3 trips. Adam Dunn just unloaded a big home run for the White Sox, and that pulls them in front of Cleveland 5-3 with 3 in the 8th. Skip Schumacher comes out to the on-deck circle. Here's ball 1. Adam Dunn has been sidelined in recent days. He had an oblique strain, missed several games. Well, that strategy to rest him until he was much better certainly seemed to be paying off with the big blow he hit tonight. Top to third, barehanded. Here's Laird throwing, and he throws it wide. That one goes out of play, and Cosmo will be at second base. It's a hit and an error on Laird.
I don't run Adam Dunn it tonight, his 40th. Nothing new for him.
No.
He's played with the bare hand, but the errant throw puts Cosman in scoring position. Skip Schumacher is the pinch hitter.
Third error for the Astros tonight. Schumacher batting for Lynn. Lynn in 7 innings allowed the Astros 5 hits, 1 run. He walked 2, fanned 9. Schumacher slashes that
Look
one.
out.
Yeah. Schumacher with a .280 average has 1 homer. He has 28 runs batted in and 264 at bats. As a pinch hitter, he's 5 for 25. John Jay's on deck. Fouls that one back, and it's 0-2. Lynn threw 108 pitches. Yankees are batting in the 9th at Minnesota, leading the Twins 6-1. Castro goes to the mound. Season ends a week from Wednesday.
With Efrod having these 2 long relief appearances now, and Bod with the oblique, you usually see Fernando making that start. Fernando Rodriguez, that is.
For a guy like the Bod, the check swing call goes the Cardinals' way.
Those oblique injuries usually linger.
Yeah. Usually this late in the season, they're going to shut him down.
Yeah, if it's bad enough where you have to come out of the game, I would not be surprised if we don't see him again this year.
Not at all.
It's too bad, because he threw the ball pretty well last time and was off to a good start here tonight.
You know, in fact, just talking about what we mentioned earlier, there haven't been that many guys who have had over 300 at-bats in the Astros lineup, and looking at it, just a multitude of starting pitchers during the season today. It's going to be kind of difficult to decide what to do about several of these players over the winter. Lucas Harrell certainly is there in the rotation for next year. He's made 30 starts with very good results.
I think you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be a lot of guys coming into camp, but not many of them that are guaranteed jobs.
Yeah.
The problem is there's only so many innings to go around in spring training, so you have to narrow it down fairly quickly. There might be a lot of B games scheduled next spring.
3-2. We did one of those in San Diego a few years ago.
It was the ultimate B game. About an hour B delay as they swarmed the field.
They did. They swarmed that chair the ball girl was sitting on down the left field line. And they had to get a beekeeper to come in. That was downright weird. Oh, we were talking earlier. Greg Lucas said that this is the anniversary of that very short rain delay in this ballpark, the only one we've had. They actually had to roll the tarp out over the infield, the only time it's ever been done, and the tarp is no longer even on the field here. Bouncer back to Fick. Tosses over to Wallace. 2 outs. Nice spin move as he checked the runner, Cosmo.
They might have a shot at Cosmo, but you're down 5, just getting out.
Two down, and John Jay will bat.
You see Cosmo break, then slam on the brakes. Looked like Lowry was kind of letting Fick know, let's just go ahead and go to first.
Right.
We got nothing here. Nothing to see here. Nothing going on.
Keep on moving. John Jay is 0 for 3. And there's a play by Laird on the backhand side. He fires to a stretching Wallace to get Jay and end the top of the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. Middle of the 8th inning, 6-1 Cardinals.
'12 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 5th with the wild card on TBS. Bottom of the 8th, Wallace leads it off. New pitcher, here's Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
Thank you, Greg. And it's lefty Sam Freeman taking over on the mound for the bottom of the 8th inning for St. Louis. We gave you the numbers on Lance Lynn. 7 very good innings for him. He gave up 1 run. Latest in a string of good Cardinal starting pitching efforts against the Astros. Freeman is 0-1 with a 5.60 ERA.
A young left-hander who started the year at Double-A and then spent time at Triple-A, and now in the big leagues for the 22nd time he's trotted out there. He's got a good arm. He's a Houston kid.
Yeah.
Fastball that he'll rush up there about 94 miles an hour. He'll also cut it. Throws both a 2 and a 4-seamer, a slider and a changeup.
Red Wallace is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. At strike 1, Freeman went to Kansas University. He was a 32nd round pick of the Redbirds in 08. 25 years old, as you might have noticed. Trevor Rosenthal is warming up in the Cardinal pen now.
Walk number's fairly high for him, but this is his time. He's getting an opportunity because of Jabzinski's struggles. Good heater at 95. 2 of the first 3 batters scheduled in this inning are left-handed hitters. There is support action in the Cardinal bullpen. There's a righty up.
Rosenthal. Well, Mike Matheny is able to rest his key triumvirate for the end of game strategy. Hika, Boggs, and Mott, at least so far. That'll be welcome in that Cardinal pen come tomorrow night. Maxwell on deck. Out of win, it's still 0-2. Rainer Cruz warming up for Houston. Just thinking about another Houston-born player, Michael Bourne. Reading a story about him today. Now he has injured his thumb. sliding head first, and he said, I tell all the other players not to do that. He said, I just got caught up in it. Thought I could get there a little faster. He's hoping he's not out very long. There's a strikeout of Wallace, and that's out number 1.
This kid went to Hebron Heights, but that's actually up in the Dallas area.
Okay.
Carrollton. Hard slider there to finish off Wally. Brad officially 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of walks.
Strikeout number 10 for Cardinal pitching tonight. Justin Maxwell's 0 for 3. That's ball 1 to J Max. J Max with 50 runs batted in now, with a chance to be the club leader for the season, with JD Martinez unfortunately down for the rest of the season, undergoing surgery day after tomorrow for a hamate bone. And that's rocked to center field. Jay back a few steps. 2 outs. And JD Martinez right now is the club RBI leader with 55. Justin Maxwell has 50. And you have to go back to the 72 Mets for a player who led his club in runs batted in with fewer than 55. Cleon Jones was the RBI leader for the 72 Mets with 52.
And the 73 Mets went to the World Series.
That's right. Matt Downs, the pinch hitter now for Fernando Martinez, who was 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Downs is hitting .202 with 8 homers. He looks at ball 1. Matt is 4 for 36 with an RBI, pinch hitting. Texas tied Oakland with 2 in the 7th inning. It's 4-4 now in the top of the 8th in Arlington. Adrian Beltre hit his 35th. He has had a big year. Fly ball to right. Beltran there for the 3rd out. We move to the 9th inning. 6-1 Cardinals. In America's Game of the Week, the Saints take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Green Bay. Coverage begins with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at 11 a.m. Central. We move to the 9th inning, and it's Reiner Cruz on the mound for the Astros. It's Matt Downs in right field after pinch hitting for left fielder Fernando Martinez. So the previous right fielder, Justin Maxwell, who started the game in center, now is in left. He ties an Astros record, playing all 3 outfield positions in one game.
Hey, that's a major league record he's tied.
That's true. That is a major league record. And Reiner Cruz is in with a 1-1 mark and a 6.17 ERA.
1 scoreless for Chucky Fick. He allowed a hit, but no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Runner's got Beltran, Holiday, Craig to contend with.
Carlos 0 for 4 tonight, has not hit the ball out of the infield. And pops out of the mid of Castro, and it's ball 1. 96-mile-per-hour fastballs sometimes do that. White Sox won a big one, 5-4, coming from behind. They got 3 in the 8th, and Cleveland got a run in the 9th, but fell short by 1. Fred Myers got the win. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Adam Dunn hit 2 home runs in that game, giving him 41. Now, the White Sox maintain their 1-game lead on Detroit. The Tigers had beaten Kansas City earlier 6-2 behind Justin Verlander.
Win number 16 for Verlander tonight against 8 losses.
Toronto split the doubleheader in Baltimore, winning the nightcap from the Birds 9-5. Ricky Romero, who has had a terrible second half, was the winner, beating Wei Yin Chen. Romero now 9-14. Fly ball center, Bogusevic waiting. 1 out in the 9th. Holiday follows.
It's interesting to try to handicap that American League Central, because the Tigers appear to have the softer schedule in terms of the opponent, but they've got more road games.
Right.
They have 2 road series. The White Sox just won. White Sox finished in Cleveland after a 4-gamer at home against Tampa Bay.
Ball 1 to Holiday.
Tigers, it's all Kansas City and Minnesota.
Strike makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Rangers are batting in the bottom of the 8th, tied with Oakland 4-4. Andy Pettit and the Yankees beat Minnesota 6-3. Pettit goes to 5-3. The appeal goes to first. Check swing call. There goes Holiday's way. And it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count to Matt. So Baltimore splitting the doubleheader and the Yankees winning. Yankees pick up a half game. Stretch their lead to a game and a half over the Birds. Strike makes it 2-2. Mets beat Pittsburgh 6-2. Henry Mejia the winner over Kyle McPherson. So the Bucks drop to 3 games below 500 right now, 75 and 78. Alan Craig's on deck. Ball 3. Cruz is pitcher number 5 for the Astros. Starter Fernando Abad had to leave with an oblique strain after 1 2/3 innings. Lance Lynn could be a 17-game winner by the end of the night. Foul back. Still 3-2. Ball in the hole, backhanded. Lowry. A smooth throw over to Wallace, out number 2. You know, this surgery that J.D. Martinez is going to undergo on Wednesday. Pretty common surgery, isn't it? The that hooked bone in your hand, the hamate bone, is removed, and that happens an awful lot to hitters in the major leagues.
Pablo Sandoval, I think, had it done on both hands.
That's true. Forgot about that. But the hope is that J.D. can play some winter ball. Alan Craig is 0 for 4, and he's been playing with that problem now for a while. They did some x-rays and discovered the break. Strike to Craig. Astros have begun to lay the groundwork for the draft next spring. And they are very close to nailing down the first overall pick. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, as in being the team that gets that pick.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that they had their guy.
Oh, no.
That's a lot of good advance work.
Mark Appel apparently will once again be considered for that, as he was this past year. He's among 4 or 5 players the team is considering at number 1, but that could change according to Mike Elias. 2 balls and a strike.
98-mile-an-hour fastball just below the knees, and that's the promise of Reiner Cruz, or maybe right at the knees. Didn't get the call. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Reiner Cruz in his career. Is he going to be able to figure it out? Take advantage of this golden right arm that he's got.
Right, makes it 2-2.
Remember, he was a Rule 5 draft pick, had to be placed on the major league roster and stay here all year, or else be offered back to the Mets. So in all likelihood, he's in the minor leagues next year, and hopefully he can just polish up that delivery. Doug Brocail had him throwing off the bullpen mound in spring training with his eyes closed, just to try to get the feel of his release point.
How'd that work out?
At times good, according to Broke.
Struck him out looking, and that inning worked out very well for Reiner Cruz. He is a 1-2-3 night. 6-1 Redbirds.
Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Before we send it to Bill Brown and Jim DeShaves, a reminder, Art Howe and I will be anchoring the post-game show Astros Live coming up immediately following the game. Now to the booth.
Thanks, Greg. There's Shane Robinson. He's the left fielder taking over there for Matt Holliday. Cardinals leading it by 5. And they go to right-hander Trevor Rosenthal for the bottom of the 9th inning. His first career appearance against the Astros. 0-2 with a 3.32 ERA.
Called up middle of July, made his debut July 18th. He was the 2,000th player in Cardinal history. Look out. Looks like he throws hard.
Yeah.
97-mile-an-hour heater. 21st round pick of the Cardinals in 09.
That's a flare over shortstop, dunking into left field, and Brandon Laird is on with the leadoff single here. He's 1 for 4. Jason Castro is coming up next. Art Howe will be working his final Astros Live postgame show, as Greg mentioned. He and Greg will be on right after the ball game. Hey, Art, it's been a real pleasure working alongside you again this season. It's been a lot of fun this year.
The pleasure's all mine, Brownie. It's thrilled to work with you and Jimmy and everybody else that's out here. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we've enjoyed your insights and your expertise, and it's been
your willingness to take on those Cardinal fans as they came in tonight.
Yeah.
I told them they were going down, but we better get a rally going.
Strike one to Castro. Yeah, it's been a season in which we've needed a lot of analysis.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But the kids are getting a lot of chance to swing and get to play.
They really are. And a chance to do something against contending clubs. And, you know, all professional athletes like a challenge. So they have that in front of them, and the challenge next year to try to improve on what they've been doing so far in their careers, to try to get a solid base that they can then leap forward the next year.
Sure, great opportunity for all these youngsters.
And, you know, we were talking about pitching improvement, Art, and that would be the #1 spot that most of us would point to, that can really lead to a major improvement in the team, if especially the starting pitching can be stronger.
Most definitely. Pitching is the name of the game. As much as I hated pitchers, they were the most important part of my team, I'll tell you. Yeah, that rotation, they got to solidify it.
Well, we can remember back to the Atlanta Braves back in the early 90s, how quickly they improved with the starting rotation that they had with Maddox. And, you know, I think Maddox's first year was just a really bad one-loss record, but if you're saddled with a bad team, it's going to happen, isn't it, Art?
Oh, yes, definitely. You know, it's just important to get these kids innings under their belt, get a little feel for the league, figure out what it takes to get people out. They can't control the offense, you know, their own offense.
Now, having managed in both leagues, Art, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for the Astros moving to the American League West from the National League Central?
Well, first of all, the competition. I think going into that Western Division in the American League, it's awfully strong. At least this year it is, and I don't see it getting any weaker over the winter. So it's going to be real tough competition in that division. And then, you know, they've got to figure out who's going to be their DH next year. That's one spot they have to look at, and obviously see what they're going to do over the winter as far as adding or subtracting from this club.
Yeah. Bogusevic the batter now. He's 0 for 2. How did you feel about managing an American League club? There's a ground ball to short, and this might be an out there and an out there, and that'll have to wait for next year, Art.
All right,
hold that
Bill.
thought. Yeah. But we'll get your answer opening day next year.
Sounds good.
Rosenthal getting the double play to end it, thanks to Art Howe. And you're about to hear his final show with Greg Lucas coming up on Astros Live. Final score, Cardinals 6, Astros 1.